Here are the top performers after 10 rounds of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorer is Wakefield of Wigan Warriors with 13. Whilst the top try assister, we've got a new one. It's Lachlan Lamb of the Leigh Leopards. He's now got 14. The most meters made in Super League is Matt Duffy of the Warrington Wolves, 1,709. Whilst the most clean breaks is Field once again for the Warriors. He's got 12. The top tackler is Ollie Partington of the Catalan Dragons, 433. Whilst the top tackle buster is Junior Insemba of the Wigan Warriors on 65. The most hard meters made down the middle, you've got to be prop forward, second row, loose forward in this one. It's Alex Walmsley of St Helens, 1,295. The most offloads have come from Tavita Pangai Jr. of the Catalan Dragons, he's got 24. And the most goals is now Alan Kieran of the Wigan Warriors, overtaking Matt Percival this week with 28. Those are your top performers after 10 rounds of the Betfred Super League. This production comes to you in association with the Bluebell Warrington. Situated in an 18th century building in the town centre and just a 5-minute walk from the HJ Stadium, the Bluebell is the perfect destination for pre- and post-game food and drink. The 2024 Warrington Pub of the Year is now the official home of Super League Raw on Warrington World match days for both home and away supporters. Super League Raw are delighted to have agreed a members-only area, allowing our community to come together to discuss rugby league pre- and post-match. So set your course to the Bluebell Warrington on match days and beyond. You are sure to be greeted with a warm welcome and a cold beer. Super League Raw and the Bluebell, the perfect partnership in enhancing your match day experience. So good evening and welcome to Super League Raw Weekly. Yes, the other side of the semi-finals at the moment. We've got a very special guest. We'll get to him in a moment. But yes, good evening to the usual panel. Hello, Steph. Good evening, Reggie. And good evening, Joe.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening indeed. Last week we had a surge on members getting involved with Super League Raw. Can we surpass 200 tonight? It would absolutely be glorious. And don't forget, special offer. You can try it before you buy. That's right. If you start as an 18-man member in the month of May, we will allow you access to the WhatsApp group Round Unpacked and Captain's Run out of the goodness of our heart, because we know that once you see those, you'll want to be at least a 6 again. member. Outstanding stuff. Right, lots to get through as always. I don't know about you, those titles. It was like REM, happy, shiny people holding hands. Anyway, that's another story, isn't it? Let's get to our very special guest. Let's bring him on the screen. Of course, as you know, we are supporting young Alfie Sales. Great young man. And nobody's supporting him more than this man, Matt Timms. Matty Timms is with us for the start of the show. Let me just bring you up to speed with Matt. We featured Alfie. There is a QR code there. If you wish to donate, it'll take you straight to the GoFundMe page. Matt will tell you a little bit more about Alfie in a moment. But we featured Alfie, oh God, got to be 6 weeks ago now, if not longer. And Matt, one of our members, was that touched by the young man that he will be doing a 10K run in his honour in Manchester this coming Sunday. Matt, you are a hero of the Super League Raw community. Welcome to Super League Raw Weekly once again.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolute privilege and pleasure, sir. So, Matt, explain to us why you've decided to put that wonderful body of yours on the line on Sunday.
in the aid of trying to get it a little bit better, eh? I think it was a bit longer actually when we initially did the video around Alfie, or when you guys did the video around Alfie. I feel like it was the middle of Feb. I think so. I think it's been probably nearly 3 months now. So yeah, I saw the video on Alfie, and I was umming and ahhing about running and going out and doing much this year, and then I'd settled on doing a run. And then when I'd seen the video of Alfie and what was going on, and the joy in the little boy's face when he was putting his Leigh shirt on, because I can still remember the video of him putting his Leigh shirt on. Yeah, it touched me, and like I say, I was in between whether to run or not this year in the Manchester 10K. I've done it once or twice before, probably the fourth time I think since I've done it over the sort of last 10 years. But I decided that I was definitely then going to go away and ahead and run it and do some training for it to try and get my time down a little bit. Alfie's an amazing little boy. I think he turned 11 actually. We've got on the GoFundMe that he's 10. He turned 11 a few weeks ago. I think it was sometime around Easter. And yeah, what a special little boy he is. And you know, from talking with Kieran, his dad, I can tell you as well, like how appreciative those guys are of the stuff that we're doing here within the Super League Raw community. And you know, it's fantastic, and what we've done so far, and the support that we're able to give through the run this week and through the generosity of the membership has been nothing short of fantastic. So Alfie, so like I say, Alfie's 11. I think he was 3 when he was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. That's like a muscle wasting disease, and there's no cure for it. So I just wanted to try and, go out there, raise some awareness for DMD, raise some awareness for the brand, for Action for Alfie, for the brand, and to try and send him on some truly, unforgettable trips, and try and create some memories that will last a lifetime. So prior to this, and we're talking probably nearer the start of his diagnosis, I think there was a little bit of fundraising to fund some of the functional stuff that Alfie will need as he gets older. And I think what's not happened though prior is this, which is more of the fun stuff rather than the functional stuff. And I wanted to get involved and just see how much we could raise and see what we could do for that little boy. And like I say, try and create some memories that will last a lifetime for him and for his family.
Matty, you are a legend. Every pound raised through this initiative will go to young Alfie and his family to make those lifetime memories. If you're a parent out there, it just needs to be done. This. Let's give Alfie, his mum, his dad, his sister some wonderful, wonderful memories. It's what the Super League Raw community does well. Well done to St. Helens as well. I noticed this week that the women's team at St. Helens have donated a shirt to be auctioned to raise even more money for the family. Dawn Kirkby, who won a signed 2025 Warrington Wolves shirt at the quiz night in January, has framed it and is donating it to the Alfie campaign as well. Clearly, Dawn as a Robin doesn't want that shirt anyway. At least he's going to go to a good home and hopefully raise a bit more money. So any of the clubs that are out there tonight who are listening to this, any representative of the clubs that are out there tonight listening to this, get onto LinkedIn, Kieran Sales, Matt Timms, go onto our Facebook pages, go onto GoFundMe. Please, any help and support the rugby league community can do, because this is about giving a family some wonderful, wonderful memories. The more money we raise, the more memories they can go and make as a family, and those will last a lifetime. And let me tell you now, if you've seen the smile of little Alfie, it's worth it just to put a bigger one on his face, because he is a very, very special boy indeed. Matt, on behalf of us all, you are our hero. I think quite a few people may be in Manchester. Just very quickly, what time are you setting off, mate? What time's your run?
12:05, so the hottest time of the day, and I think it's going to be 22 degrees on Saturday. So yeah,
fantastic. So make sure you support Matt. Make sure you've got a nice cold beer in your hand as he walks past, or sorry, runs past. With Kieran, raise a glass to him on the way past. But yeah, Matt, on behalf of us all, mate. Yes, it's going to be warm. The very, very best of luck. Let's hope tonight there's another push in terms of raising some funds for Alpha. And mate, looking forward to seeing you face to face and shaking you firmly by the hand, mate. On behalf of us all, you are a Super League Raw legend. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks for giving us the time, and thanks to everyone in the community who supported it so far and continues to support it. Much appreciated.
Legend, Matt. You have a good evening, sir. Make sure you stay tuned in, though. It wouldn't be a Tuesday without a bit of weekly. Well done, mate. All the best. Right, there you go. So that is Matt Timms running this weekend. Baz are already in the chat saying that's what it's all about. That is the community. I do not make an apology for starting this particular show with that as opposed to straight into Rugby League, because sometimes Rugby League, well, let's be fair, Rugby League pales into insignificance to that wonderful, wonderful cause. Whew, what a start to the show, boys. What a start to the show. Right, we've got loads to get through, and plenty of news to get through. So here we go. Banging or hanging? Yes, another week of Rugby League action. The semi-finals, etc., come and gone, and there's news aplenty out there for us to discuss. So, as always, we're going to rattle through it Super League Raw style. First to go will be Joel. And Joel, Steve McNamara, let's start there. He came out and questioned the integrity of the Rugby Football League and the game. What are your thoughts about Steve's comments, mate?
I love passionate coaches. I love passionate people about Rugby League. To question the integrity, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a touchy one, because we all know that we have our views about Rugby League and sometimes how it's either governed, how it's refereed, how it's officiated. I think we have to take it into context. It's in the spur of the moment. It was quite a big game for him, and I think the initial reaction, like anybody, is to hit out and defend you guys. But I think it was a little bit of a contentious statement that maybe could have been worded slightly differently had he had his time again.
Yeah, I mean, even if they had 3 or 4, maybe 5 penalties, I still think they'd have lost the game. KR were white hot, sir, is what I would say. Thank you for that, Joel. We now bring in the man from Dublin, the man that went to the Emerald Isle, and he's back safe in one piece. Mr. Sale, the community were worried about you, sir. You were very, very quiet on Monday, but you can kick off by talking about this man, Liam Moore's semi-final performance. As a Leigh Leopards fan, how did you see it?
I had no issue with Liam whatsoever. I know there was a minority of Leigh fans maybe had a few gripes with him, but who doesn't have some gripes with the referee when you've lost? Is all I'll say to that. But anybody who thinks Liam Moore had an influence on that game needs to give their heads a wobble, as we like to say on here, and it would be a disservice to what was an outstanding Warrington performance. Leigh didn't play badly in the semi-final. I thought it was a great game. There's a lot of things Leigh could have done better, but it'd be taken away from what was near on a faultless performance by Warrington and thoroughly deserved winners. So there should be no blaming of referees in this one. I think he did a pretty decent job. So I'm going to say he was banging Liam Moore.
Thank you for that, Steph. There you go. No bias there. Steph calling it straight. Liam Moore was banging. There you go. Right, we now go to Reggie, because Willie Peters has been thrown into the mix now. A lot of people being thrown into the mix for this Perth job. You can see why Willie Peters, though, as his name is in the frame. And you're on mute.
There we go.
There you go.
Some people prefer me on mute, to be honest. As I was saying, he's done a fantastic job at Hull KR. It's banging for him to be in the company of some of the names that have been put forward. It's banging for Super League that the coaches are coming over and doing such a great job that they're then being picked up or being rumoured to be being picked up by NRL clubs, new NRL clubs as well. I think it's probably hanging for Hull KR fans. It's probably the news they didn't want to hear. So, Mix, it's banging for the guy himself. It's banging for Super League that these coaches are coming over, doing a great job. I mean, he's done a great job at Hull KR. You can't deny that. And probably hanging for Hull KR fans who didn't really want to see this news.
Well, his stock will rise if he gets
Yes.
the trophy in on the 7th of June.
Indeed it will.
Indeed
it will, yes.
Will rise. Right, let's say goodbye to Reggie. Let's say hello once again to Mr. Scholes, because Mr. Scholes, all change in the championship. We have new leaders. Toulouse on a bit of a run. Halifax, another defeat. Toulouse doing well.
Yeah, and it shows that their time in Super League wasn't, in vain. They clearly, deserve to be there thereabouts. I think the conversation about should Toulouse and Catalan be in the league, there's an argument to be said of this. If Toulouse are going to continue to be at the top and keep winning, because like it used to be with promotion relegation, top one goes in and bottom one goes out. So if that was to stay the same, I'm presuming their points are going to shoot up quite a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time ago now, isn't it, since Toulouse was in? But let's be fair, they very nearly relegated Warrington that season. So, yeah, well done to Toulouse. We're keeping a close eye on the championship this year. Halifax in a bit of turmoil, having a bad couple of weeks. Can they strike back? We'll have to wait and see. Well done, Joel. Now we bring back Mr. Sale, and this is a trophy that's close to Mr. Sale's heart. The 1895 trophy. It's semi-final weekend. Oldham taking on Featherstone. The York Knights going up against the Bulls. You like this trophy, Steph? Should be 2 good games.
Yeah, it should be brilliant, and obviously the chance to get to Wembley for some of these teams that would, potentially never get there. Obviously Bradford have got the history with it, but York, Oldham, Featherstone, I don't know if they've played at Wembley. I think they played us at Tottenham. I can't remember whether they've actually been there in a while, but yeah, fantastic opportunity for all these clubs to get to Wembley. It meant so much to us Leigh fans to win this trophy. But just going back to the previous one as well, people don't realise how close that we think Super League's tight at the moment. There's only 2 points between first and sixth in the championship. So it's some massive games in this one, very, very close. And Featherstone, probably the outsiders, unbelievably 9th position in the championship, given their dominance over the previous years. It's surprising to see them there, but no, absolutely banging for the championship. It should be a great day, and hopefully fans of those clubs get out and support them, and hopefully get the chance to play at Wembley.
Yeah, good standard of rugby league in the championship, I say, very, very close. And there's a bit of momentum involved in this. If you look at previous seasons, last year, case in point, Wakey got it, and then they went on to have a stellar season and were promoted. It could be the same for whoever wins this year, that, it just gets them going in the championship, and away they go from there.
Well, the last 2 winners have gone on to go into Super League, haven't they? So yeah, massive. And also, I think they get some decent IMG points for it as well.
Most certainly, yes. So good luck to all of those semi-finalists. Make sure that I'm sure they will, the likes of the York Knights, Bradford fans, and get out, support your team. It should be a great, great spectacle. Goodbye to Steph. Hello to Sir Reginald. In he comes. Greg, it's been announced it will be the Robins against the Leeds Rhinos in Vegas 2026. This should be a little belter, and I think deservedly so, the Robins, for what they've produced over the last couple of years. I think it's only right and fitting that they're going over there.
Oh yeah, completely agree. Banging for both teams, banging for the fans. Seen a lot of posts on social media from fans of other clubs, supporters of other clubs who are going to go over. And what I really like about this is that it's been announced now, so plenty of time to save your pennies, your birthday money, your Christmas money, plenty of time to get early deals over in Vegas. I think this is absolutely banging for both clubs, and again, banging for Super League. The more people that get out there to watch this game, the better for me. Brilliant advertisement for our great sport.
Well, here's one for you. Again, there's the QR code. This has been announced. The amount of Super League Raw members that are going to Vegas and are going as a collective unit is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And, one, maybe 2 of them are going to be getting married while they're over there as well, and the Super League Raw family are invited. So, that's what it's all about. It's not just about rugby league. We are building a community, and it's wonderful to see that the likes of, Pete and Bazza Claire.
Yeah.
What was it? Polyam, wasn't it?
Yeah, Polyam. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
off to buy a hat as soon as the show finishes.
Yes, you'd look absolutely wonderful, sir. Make sure there's a feather in it. Absolutely wonderful. You look marvellous, sir. Right, okay. Let's say goodbye to Reggie. Let's bring back in Mr. Scholes. Mr. Scholes, Latrell Mitchell. Go on, lad. The Bunnies get a massive win over the Broncos. Big deficit at half time, and back comes South Sydney.
What can you say about Bunnies and Latrell Mitchell? I think one I read earlier today or yesterday, someone has said he's the Jekyll and Hyde of the NRL, and that is Latrell Mitchell. You love him or you hate him. Of course, we love him because we're Bunnies fans. And if you've seen some of the plays that he makes, for those that don't watch NRL or don't know who Latrell Mitchell is, he's a fantastic player who plays either at centre, he can play sometimes at fullback. He's a great player, Latrell Mitchell. Now he did the most incredible, outrageous move that we've not seen for quite some time, where he essentially had the ball in his hands, went down to his knee, looked down at the floor like he'd done his knee in or something. And then as soon as he saw the approaching players come, he bounced straight up and scored a try. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And I think the last time that we saw that happen, I remember, was in 2022, I think. Joey Manu, he feigned a knee injury and did something very similar. So, not something that you see in Super League. I would like personally to see things like that because it's champagne rugby in my eyes, but I guess that comment's like Marmite to some. So
it was a cheeky effort. I mean, Greg said before we went on air, it wasn't in the spirit of the game. It didn't matter. The game was over. It was the last play of the ball of the game. Yeah. South had already won it, and it actually took the gloss off his incredible drop goal. A 2-point drop goal that put the Bunnies back in. Maybe we'll talk about that when we get back on the screen as a collective. The 2-pointer from Latrell. But well done, Joel. Thank you for that. And right, we'll bring back in Mr. Sale. Mr. Sale, you're back in. It's been announced this evening that Abbas Miski's gone under the knife. Matty P has said that in his presser. 2 months out. Opportunity knocks for Eckersley, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's obviously hanging for Abbas. We all knew he was injured.
Been in good form, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been in really good form, but you could tell he was carrying a knock, and I don't think he's ever got to the 2023 form that he was in, and that's obviously had an impact on him. Although he's done tremendously well this season to do what he's done, but like you say, presents a brilliant opportunity now for Eckersley, who I think potentially could be, one of the best in the game. I think he's got that potential, and Wigan obviously see that in as well. But with Wigan, it's always that conveyor belt, isn't it? It's 1 in, 1 out, and you get your opportunity. And this is going to be a fantastic one for Zach Eckersley now.
Absolutely. Right, let's bring everybody back because it's next up will be our new feature. What will Ollie say? Yes, Ollie has sent his video in for week 2. He's, by all accounts, he's a bit of a celebrity at school now. He's young Ollie, which is marvellous. Exactly what we hope to achieve. But before we go to what Ollie says, let's talk about that 2-point drop goal from Latrell Mitchell. I personally would love to see that come in Super League. I think it's one of the better rules. And don't get me wrong. I think some of our lads struggle doing a drop goal from 20 metres at times, let alone 40. But, for those who have the skill, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, lads, but it was a bullet. I mean, it was if ever you want to see a video of the perfect 2-point drop goal, it was, and under that pressure, it was immense. Greg will bring you in. 2-point drop goal. Banging, hanging.
Oh, banging.
Yeah.
Banging. Great idea. But like you say, it's a skill. A drop goal is a skill that's underrated as far as I'm concerned. I'm just going back to your Latrell Mitchell point. I said it would be ungentlemanly conduct in union. I didn't say it was unsporting behaviour, so just clear that up. But I think that's a banging idea. I think it needs to be brought in. It would certainly bring another element of jeopardy into the game, that you could score a 2-point drop goal. Absolutely fantastic idea. Well executed by Mitchell. Thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. Hanging and banging, Steph?
No, definitely banging for me. And I think if you think back to the Wakefield Cass game earlier in the season. Arce did a brilliant drop goal. He actually missed, but the distance he got on it was phenomenal. But that could end this golden point kind of debate as well, because if he'd have kicked that when it was worth 2, that would have stopped it going to golden point and Cats win the game instantly. So I just think it brings anything like that. I mean, I love golden point, but anything that brings drama into it and has value, I think is a brilliant thing, and it seems to be working really well in the NRL.
I tell you, a man who's agreeing, Joel, you've already said you like it, mate, as you would as a Bunnies fan. And let's be fair, with a boot like Latrell's, it's a wonderful weapon to have for the mighty Bunnies. Back in contention for the playoffs. Don't you count the Bunnies out. Greg Roach. Greg Roach likes it. Greg Roach likes it. Good evening to our members. Carla Collier, Greg Roach, Matty Tim's now back in the chat. He's gone nowhere. Rebecca Frey, lovely to have her company at the weekend. Carl's in the chat. Who else? We've got Peter Barley. I know Bazza Kingston's there. Fraser Howard. South Stander, he's there as well. He's in the chat. He's already getting pretty keen. He's looking forward to an Oldham Bradford Grand 1895 Cup final. Is South Stander? Well, there's that many South Standers. I presume he's Leeds. It's the most famous of the South Stand. So I'm going to go a Leeds Rhinos fan. Let us know, South Stander, if that is the case. But anyway, for those who were with us last week, you know that we met young Oliver, and we wanted to give him a little bit of a leg up. Roving reporter, young lad, making his way as journalist, BBC Humberside. He really made an impression on me and Reggie. And we said, look, you know, if you want to come on and have your own little spot, mate, we'd love to have you. You made such a great impression. So every week, Ollie's going to be sending us a 1-minute video on something that he wants us to discuss and he thinks is worthy of discussion. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is this week's What Would Oliver Say
at Super League Raw. In the Warrington v Leigh match in the Challenge Cup, when Tessie New went over to score a try, the Wire challenged the decision of the try, but they didn't state what part they were challenging. I think this is controversial, as there could have been numerous parts of the try that there could have been an error, as it got 5 challenges in one. For example, there could have been an incorrect play of the ball, a knock-on, an offside and a grounding. And if a team challenges, in my opinion, they should have to say what they want to challenge, because otherwise they could be challenging 4 different parts of the whole part of the try that leads up to the try, which could have been massive in the game.
I've already told you, lads, you're on notice. Hey, hey, there you go, young Golly at it again. So, Greg's gone. I don't blame you, Greg. The lad's a genius.
The next on the line.
So, obviously, right, he's picked on some. I'm going to trust him implicitly. He's picked up on something there that he didn't hear. What Warrington, it didn't come over on the TV anyway, clearly, what Warrington were actually challenging. It was the Tessie New try at the Leigh game. So let's chat about it. The thing is, and we've seen this a couple of times this year, whereby a captain's challenge comes in, and sometimes it's not just what they challenge, it's the whole series of play. And I think what Ollie's getting at there is that if you're challenging obstruction, the grounding and everything else shouldn't be looked at. I think that's what he's driving at. You know, you've got to state what part of that play you want to review. You can't have, because otherwise, really, that one captain's challenge is worth 4. So I think that's what Ollie was getting at. I'm going to trust him implicitly. He's got far better knowledge than me, than I had at his age. He wants to go first.
I'll go. I'd like to thank Ollie for picking out the one thing Leigh did good to try and kick him on while he's down there. Cheers. Cheers for that, Ollie. But no, he's absolutely right. And if he's not picked up on it, then that's something that needs to be, other people won't have either. It needs to be absolute clarity in terms of what's being challenged. And I think this comes back to the debate of should it be, in the stadium, should it be announced so people know what's going on. But I think there's a really good point in terms of should it just be the specific thing, because we've seen that earlier in the season where the actual thing that's been challenged has been successful, but then they've gone on and looked and found another knock on that's then ruled it out, kind of thing. So they get the challenge back, but then they've still not been advantaged by it. But I think all we want with the captain's challenge is right decisions, isn't it? That's my thing, and it for be clear with everybody what's actually being challenged. But no, it's a great point by Ollie, and Not us. We didn't pick up on that, did we? So
the lad has got knowledge. Greg, we've seen this a lot whereby, for example, we've seen referees go to the video referee and say, can you check in touch and sideline and grounding? And they go to the initial kick. We've seen that. Well, let's check. So the video ref hasn't been asked to check the onside offside, but let's go to that anyway. So again, even though that's not a captain's challenge, I think what Ollie's picking up on here is whatever the referee has to be checked and whatever the captain has to be checked, that should be it.
I agree totally, and I agree with Steph, and I'm sure everybody else agrees. It's a great point, and I like the idea that Steph's put forward. That's announced in the stadium, either goes on the big screen what's been checking, or, and again, I'm talking about rugby union again, where the ref's mic'd up and he announces to the stadium what it is that's being checked and the reasons why. And you know what? We would get, if a rugby league referee has to announce to the stadium why that decision has been made, I think that would improve decisions by a hell of a lot of percentage overnight. I think he's absolutely spot on. I think it has to be announced. It has to be specific what the challenge is. And that is the only thing that is checked under captain's challenge. And as you say, same with going to the video ref for tries.
Yeah.
As you say, they'll be looking for grounding, and then suddenly we're looking at offside.
Yeah. That's why it takes so long. That's why everything's taking so long, isn't it?
If the referee says check the grounding only. Onside, offside, onside only. Whatever the referee asks for, that's the only thing to check for. And I'm 100% behind Ollie there that it has to be specific what the challenge is, and that is the only thing that is looked at, and nothing else in that move. Because that was a great try. That was a great try from Leigh on Sunday. And it'd been an awful shame for that to be ruled out.
Absolutely. And just in the interest of legends, of course, we know that we've got a legend in Sir Joel Scholes down there at the bottom of the screen. But Joel is actually heading up to Craven Park, I'm led to believe, this weekend to spend a bit of quality time with Bazza Kingston. Oliver, I think there's a photo opportunity, mate, because, don't injure Joel. Don't go to those lengths to try and take over his spot, Ollie. You know what I mean? But maybe a nice photograph, you, Joel, Bazza, that should be easy to arrange. So I know Ollie's watching. I know his mum's watching. Reach out. Let's get a photograph of young Ollie with Bazza, the Super League Raw community, and of course, Mr. Scholes. You'd be up for that, Joel, wouldn't you, meeting the young man?
Yeah, please. Yeah, let's sort that. Yeah, however we do it, let's do it. I'm coming down to Hull. Ollie, I would love to meet you because I was blown away by that point you've made there. That's really impressive, that, Ollie. I'm really, really be a massive privilege to meet you, mate. So yeah, definitely want to get a photo with you.
You might actually take over the reins of Super League Raw when we're all done and dusted. Maybe Ollie will be the future of this program, eh? Maybe he'll take it over one day.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As regards Ollie's point, if you don't mind me saying,
crack on.
I think Reggie makes a good point that you and Steph, that you've got to be specific in what you're asking for, but I don't think they should limit it to just the 1 point. If they want to challenge all parts of the ruling, then let them do that. If the captain says, "I want to check the thing," even if it's 4 or 5 points, they should allow them to check for that because that's what they've seen on the field and that's what they wanted to challenge. But I don't think the RFL would allow that because they'd say it's time wasting and so on and so forth. However, there'd be certain caveats in that where you can't say, "I want to check everything." That wouldn't be allowed. You've got to state exactly what you're looking for. So I think that's a very good point that Ollie's made because, as we've seen, and as Steph said, it's gone against teams or for them when they thought it was going to be the opposite, and that also isn't fair on both teams. So I think if they should be allowed to have as many challenges within that challenge that they want, but they have to state it first. And I guess, like with the bunker, you've got a certain amount of time to do it. I think they'll have to give them a certain amount of time, i.e., shot clock, to make that captain's challenge, as it says.
Spot on. Already a couple of the Robins fans in the chat wanting to make that happen on Craven Street. So I'll leave that to you to all sort out. I'm sure it could be done. Now, before we move to our next segment, let's just go back just for a moment to the membership. We had a wonderful, wonderful time at Magic Weekend. There is now over 30 people going to the Challenge Cup. Remember those days, ladies and gentlemen, for those of a certain vintage, those days where the Challenge Cup, everybody went, all the different shirts, one family. Well, that's what Super League Raw are doing. With us, in Club Wembley are going to be Castleford fans, Hull FC fans, yes, KR, yes, Warrington fans, Leigh Leopards fans are going to be in there. I'm going to miss some. I know I am. Leeds fans are going to be in there as well. We have got an army going down to Wembley to sit together to enjoy the Challenge Cup. Next year it could be you, become a member. Again, I'm going to appeal to people out there. Are you somebody who loves rugby league but has got nobody to go with through circumstance? You've lost people in your life, whatever it may be. You have got a family waiting to get you back into this to rugby league. They'll go to the game with you. It'll be a friendship for life. If you haven't got that person, do the QR code, get in touch, become a member, because that's what we're about. And this podcast is two-way. It's not like any other podcast. We're a community. It's both ways. We listen to our community. We give you your shout-outs. We arrange things for our community. And in the chat now, I guarantee, if you're thinking about it, I don't have to say it, but I will. If you look at the chat now, look at what the members are about to start saying. They will be pleading with you to join because they absolutely love the family that we're creating. So do become a part of this wonderful journey here at Super League Raw. Do that QR code. Get in touch with Super League Raw. Believe me, you will never, ever, ever regret it. Just Matty Ashton's out for the season with an ACL. Have you heard that?
Just had a message flash up social media. Don't know how true it is.
Right.
Not been confirmed, but if that's the case, that's a massive blow for Matty Ashton. Massive blow for Wire. Just flashed up now.
Well, if that is the case, Warrington have paid I think Warrington have paid the price for not dealing with Matty Ashton, because I think he's been carrying an ox since Vegas. I know that was his ankle. ACL.
It all put strain. Any injury puts strain. I don't know which ACL it is, mate. But yeah, if that's true,
could they be paying the price for that? There, it makes you think, lads, doesn't it? We've been saying for weeks now he's not looked right. Maybe it's been one step too far. We'll keep an eye on that. Of course, not confirmed. It could be the rumour mill. We'll have to wait and see. But I doubt he will.
It's from a pretty good source, Dave. So
is it? Is it tomato or brown? Hey! Super League Raw. It makes sense. And on that note, let's get to the Nixon report. Here it is, because the Women's Super League is back.
Okay, first of all, though, would love to give my congratulations to Wigan Warriors and St Helens after their Challenge Cup semi-final wins at the weekend. The Warriors were, I think we talked about this on Final Whistle, the Warriors were very impressive. 13-0 at half-time, 44-14 at full-time against Leeds. Leeds kind of a team in transition at this moment in time. Saints did it tough to grind out a 10-6 win over York at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Especially difficult for them, as the majority of fans who were getting there for that semi-final, Warrington and Leigh, were towards the end roaring the Valkyrie on to win that game. But congratulations to both sides. Saints going for a 5th consecutive Challenge Cup win. But you know what? I think it'd be great for the game if Wigan could beat their arch rivals at Wembley on June the 7th. It'd be fitting reward, to be honest, for the way the Warriors have got behind their women's team in the past few years. And I don't know if many of you remember, but I actually did predict good things for Wigan this year, and that the Challenge Cup would be maybe their best chance of silverware. It's a big ask against Saints. They're going for the 5th in a row. But, I'm going to stick my neck out there, and I'm going to back Wigan to actually beat Saints at Wembley. I'd like to see them do that. Nothing against Saints in particular. It'd be just good to see a new name on the trophy. And you know what? I took some pelters on you last week for predicting a Saints-Wigan final, so I might be right with that prediction as well. And so, first round of women's games in the Women's Super League this weekend. Wigan will be taking on the defeated semi-finals in a double header, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. With Wigan and Leigh at the Brick Stadium this Friday. York will probably think they've got a point to prove, bolster their squad with the signing of Zoe Hornby from Leeds. But Wigan, I think they'll be on a Challenge Cup high, and there were some great performances from Wigan on that day. They can continue with that. I don't think there'll be much of a cup hangover, and I'm actually predicting again a narrow win for the Warriors, and I'm hoping they'll be spurred on by a big home following. I hope the Wigan fans get in there early doors and cheer their women's team on. And a big plus is that it's being shown on Sky Sports Action channel as well. So that's if anybody can't make it, I would really encourage you to watch it, because you know the standard of rugby league in the women's game is absolutely fantastic. The other finalists, St Helens at home. Funny that. To the other beaten semi-finalist, Leeds Rhinos. That's on Saturday. And Rhinos, they'll be hurting from that defeat. They'll want to bounce back. But as I've said, they're a team in transition. They've lost some of their big names in the pre-season, mainly to Saints and to York in recent weeks as well with Zoe Hornby. And I predict quite a big win for Saints in that one. And that game is being shown on the Sportsman. So, yeah, if you've got access to the Sportsman, you can watch that one as well. And then we got newly promoted Leigh. They're at home to last season's surprise package Barrow Raiders. They're at the Leigh Sports Village on Sunday at 2 p.m. Not Saturday. If anybody's been going to the BBC Sports website, they've got that game down as Saturday. It's on Sunday. So Leigh are another club who are putting their resources into women's team. It's great to see. They're really backing the women. And I think this will pay off. Barrow have had a decent pre-season. They beat Warrington in a pre-season friendly. But there they both lost Challenge Cup games away to Wigan, at home to London. And that was a surprise result, to be honest. So I'm thinking Leigh, they lost to Leeds and York in their Challenge Cup campaign. But I think they're going to win this one this weekend. They've got great backing, and hopefully again, people will get into the Leigh Sports Village and support the game. Also on Sunday, Warrington, they've got Huddersfield Giants. This is at Halliwell Jones Stadium. That's a noon kickoff. So anybody who can't make it to the Wakefield game for whatever reason, why not come down to the Halliwell Jones and watch the women take on Huddersfield to cheer both sides on. Giants away to OKR Friday. Maybe some of the Cowbell Army could come down, pop across the Pennines and watch their team in action. This is a difficult one to predict, this one. Warrington, they've got a lot of new players. They've not had a great start to the season, and they probably have a few players on debut on Sunday. They need to get off to a winning start if they're to avoid a real struggle this season. We've lost a couple of players to Swinton over the last few weeks. And I think the problem with this is that Giants will have targeted this one as well. So it's a must-win game for both of them, I think. Giants beat Warrington 34-0 in the last game of the season last year. Giants qualified for the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup before losing out to Rhinos. And I really can't predict this one. I'd love to predict Warrington, but I could see Huddersfield just having the edge because they've got experience. They've got a settled team. And, it's great to see the Women's Super League finally starts. It seems a long time in coming, but get down to one of the games. This sport, it's a great sport. It won't grow if we don't get behind it. It won't grow if we don't support it. And I think you'll be very, very surprised at the very high standard of rugby league in the women's game. So, yeah, and congratulations to Swinton at the weekend, winning their cup final. And that's it for me. So thank you very much.
Magical, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Outstanding effort. Yes. So, look, there you go. Unlike other podcasts, the Women's Super League get its own segment on Super League Raw, and rightly so. 2 belting games there on the telly. YouTube, of course, the Sportsman, free to wear. Get yourself over there on Saturday.
Should have mentioned that. I do apologise.
No, you did. But I'm just telling people where it can be found, sir. And again, going back to what we said, the good thing about when Reggie starts talking is it just gives me a moment to listen and look in the chat. This is the Super League Raw community. I didn't know this. Nigel Bennett in the chat. Nigel said tonight, since I lost my wife last year, I really look forward to my Tuesday nights with the Raw community. Please join. Nigel, honoured, humbled, privileged, sir, to have your company. And what's absolutely wonderful is all the members have been, offering Nigel the condolences, saying that we're one family. And then you've also now got Super League Raw members offering Nigel the opportunity to attend a match with him. Without Super League Raw, that doesn't
Brilliant.
Happen. That's what this community is all about. We love the great game of rugby league, but we are a community. We go both ways. That's what makes us very, very unique, folks. Do become a part of the family. Well done, Greg. Good Nixon report there. Right, it's now time to dip in to the Player of the Year awards, boys. Here we go. It's round 10. Just gone after all. Here we come. We're 10 rounds in to the Betfred Super League season, so it's time to check in on the 2025 Player of the Year awards. Starting with the Albert Goldthorpe Medal. Leading the charge is Jake Connor on 16 points. Behind him in second place is Highfield of the Wigan Warriors with 13. In joint third is Aidan Caesar and Lachlan Lamb with 12, with Mikey Lewis in fourth with 10 points. The Steve Prescott Man of Steel. Leading the table after 10 rounds is Jake Connor of the Leeds Rhinos with 16 points. Herman SASA is second with 13 points. Nick Kotrick of the Catline Dragons, he's got 12 and he's in third. And in joint fourth is Highfield of the Wigan Warriors and Aidan Caesar of Hull FC, both on 10 points. The Super League Raw Trophy 2025. Leading the table is Junior Nsemba of the Wigan Warriors, consistent as ever. He has 18 points, and in joint second with 17 points are Herman SASA of Hull FC, Bevan French of the Wigan Warriors, Mikey Lewis of the Robins, and Highfield of the Wigan Warriors. These are the Player of the Year awards after 10 rounds of the Betfred Super League. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you jolly well go. Let's start with the Goldthorpe then. Like I say, 10 rounds in. Jake Connor leading. Interesting that no Jake in ours, which is interesting. He's just outside the top two in ours. But Jake leading on two fronts at this moment in time. Field also appearing. Greg, your thoughts on the Goldthorpe, mate? The top five.
They've had decent seasons so far. Aidan Caesar's probably the most improved player out of those, I would have thought. But as I said a few weeks ago, I think Jake Connor's been given the opportunity to express himself, and you know, Jake Connor isn't a player that you can coach. He's naturally gifted, and I think that might have been the problem in the past, in that coaches have tried to control him. It's clear at Leeds, or to me it is anyway, maybe somebody can correct me on this, but it's clear at Leeds he's been told, go out there and do what you do. And it looks like he's enjoying his rugby, and you know, he's played really, really well. Yeah, you know, I'm surprised Mikey Lewis is down there, but he's had a few knocks. Lachlan Lamb's played well. You know, Aidan Caesar probably, as I said, on that list, the most improved player, I would have thought. Still a bit of a surprise, though.
Yeah, I think Caesar got. I mean, and again, I think this is the interesting thing about the Goldthorpe is that, you know, we're 10 rounds in, they don't do what we do, which is and again, just for people who are new to the show, I'll just explain what we do. So we do the 3-2-1 exactly like the Man of Steel and the Goldthorpe do, but what we also do is Team of the Week. Anybody who gets into Team of the Week gets an additional point. Anybody who gets into Team of the Month gets an additional 2 points, because that's consistency. They've had to play all of the games in that period. That to qualify, because it's about consistency, and they have to be the best in their position over the course of those 3 to 4 games. They get an extra 2 points, and our Player of the Month gets an additional 3 points. So over the course of a season, it sorts itself out a little bit. So it's a bit early doors at the moment. Don't know what the interference is. It's a bit early doors at the moment. Don't know where's that coming from. Is it coming from Reggie? I think it's coming from Reggie. I just turned you off for a moment. Anyway, we carry on.
My magnetic personality, sir.
We digress. But yeah, that's how we do ours. So like I say, I think Caesar's there because he had a great start. I mean, and really pallowed on the points very, very early. Steph, Lachlan Lamb, should he be top 5 this stage of the season for you?
Well, my point on the Goldthorpe is they're all pretty much halfbacks, aren't they, apart from Highfield? So they're kind of easy picks. Lachlan Lamb, top assist in Super League at the moment, so that's probably what's getting him up there with the Albert Goldthorpe. It's not my list. Obviously, we have a segment dedicated to why the Albert Goldthorpe is ridiculous at some points. But yeah, for me, the thing that just jumps off the page with this one is the very easy picks.
Yeah, and we've said this a lot, haven't we, Joel? You know, we like to. We'll get to our list in a minute, but we you know, I think what we see is that, you know, those middle unit players don't get a fair crack of the whip, do they?
No, they don't. And it's never reflected because they don't do the flashy things. They don't do the stuff that most rugby league fans or any sport fans enjoy seeing. People like the goals, people like the tries. But we always know that the forwards win the games. So it's a shame that they don't get the plaudits that they should, and it's a great reason why Super League Raw's table reflects as such. And of course, when it comes back up again, we'll see that certainly does reflect the hard work that goes into not just the backs but also the forwards.
Mate, I'm smiling there because you say that the they don't do the flashy stuff. Even when they do, it gets given to someone else. Jai Whitbread's run in the semi. I mean, I know it doesn't qualify for the goal for, but Jai Whitbread does a storming run on the left-hand side, breaks the line, passes it to Lewis. Lewis falls over the line, and Brian Noble talks about Lewis. And it was all about Jai Whitbread. You're like, what chance have you got? Unbelievable. Anyway, we'll move over. We'll move over to the Man of Steel, the Steve Prescott Man of Steel. Herman SA up there, which is good to see. I have to say, Connor is still leading that. Nick Kotrick. If ever there is a name, and this is no disrespect, I think Kotrick's playing well for the Dragons. He's not playing good rugby league. He's playing good rugby league, but this is a player of the season award. Does anybody see Nick Kotrick in the top 5 players of Super League 2025 thus far?
No. Yeah, and this is the
for the minute now.
This is the problem with the scoring system, where we've got it slightly better in terms of we're rewarding consistency, and you'll see when ours flips over, there's 3 Wigan players. That will never happen in Man of Steel because the way that the points are given in theirs, rather than awarding additional ones for Team of the Week and Team of the Month and things like that. That's why you'll always get one. Like Mark Sneed was one at Salford, wasn't he? He was always going to be there because he's a halfback. He's always going to get the plaudits for it. So there's no way Kotrick should be in that top 5.
No. Very similar to the Albert Goldthorpe. So in the interest of time, because we can get into debate on other things, we'll move on to ours. Junior Nsemba, and this is the thing. People think Junior Nsemba. Well, yeah, because it's about consistency. He's picked up a lot of. I think he's been in at least 2 Team of the Months. So he's got 4 points there straight away. That consistency has certainly got him up the table. I mean, nobody can argue that Herman SA. I mean, again, you go back to the Goldthorpe. How's Herman SA? Not, all right. He's had a couple of slightly off weeks, but Herman SA has been the best prop in Super League by a street and should be competing. Field is having probably his best season for 2 years. Mikey Lewis is Mikey Lewis, and Bevan French is Bevan French. Just for clarity, because people are probably asking, I'll just go a little bit further. Underneath them on 16 is Caesar and Connor, so they're not a million miles off on ours either. 14 points, Sam Walters, off the back of an exceptional April, playing out of position at prop, got a lot of points in April for that, rightly so. Harry Robertson's in there, Mike McMeekin's there, James McDonnell, there's another one, Jack Broadbent, Arthur Morg, Jay Pitts, John Asiata, Aspiro Bichet. I don't know how many that is. That's about 22 places I've just gone through, but listen to the names. Variety of positions, no favoritism, the way it should be. Greg, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's more reflective of the players' performances in Super League, all down to your hard work putting those statistics together, Dave. I'm wondering whether it's time that we rename the Man of Steel just to Super League Player of the Year or Player of the Year, because Man of Steel doesn't really reflect the fact, when somebody says Man of Steel to me, I think of a forward who's running through brick walls, who makes a space for those flashy halfbacks and those flashy fullbacks to run through the gaps they've caused and to take the glory. So I wonder, it might be a controversial decision. Do we think about the name, the Man of Steel, and change it? Because it doesn't really reflect, for me, the hard work that forwards and that put in. I'm thinking Alex Wormsley, I'm thinking Adrian Morley, I'm thinking players like that. They are, they're the real men of steel. And this is no disrespect. I'm not going to argue with anybody on a rugby league field. But for me, Man of Steel for me. If I get an image of Man of Steel, it's a prop, it's a second row, or it's a loose forward, creating those gaps for the creative players to start running through. And so maybe it's time to think of a rename of the trophy. Controversial, I know.
I'm gonna, before people start getting a bit upset over those comments that Reg has just made, let me just back him up for a second. He's not saying rename it from Steve Prescott.
No, the Steve Prescott Player of the Year.
Because there'll be a few people that will listen to that and go, "That's disrespectful." Greg,
not suggesting that for a moment.
Exactly, and I know you're not. It's the Man of Steel element of it that Greg is suggesting it's changed, not the tribute to Steve Prescott. Joel, your thoughts on it, and like I said, those middle units. Great point that Greg makes. We've got a young Player of the Year. It tends to be backs that I can't try to remember who the last forward was to win it. Was it Jamie Peacock? Are we going that far back? I can't remember that.
Was it not Schoolthorpe?
No, Peacock was after him.
We
might be going back all the way to Peacock here. I mean, that's ridiculous. So, in the spirit of, we've got a young Player of the Year, we've got the Steve Prescott Man of Steel that tends to go to halfback. Should there be a third award in terms of hard meter maker of the year, or middle unit of the year, whatever it may be? Because unlike Australia, where they make the Dally M really does, we don't really sing and wax lyrical over the dream team. It tends to just be a quick post and a photo. There's certainly no dinner for it.
Paul McShane, it was 2020.
Paul McShane. No, Paul McShane's hooker.
Yeah, it's a forward.
No.
Forward.
No, we don't. No.
Forward.
No, mate. Modern day hooker is he's more a halfback in the middle.
If you take hookers out, it was James Graham in 2008.
James Graham.
There's a Man of Steel.
There's a Man of Steel. Yeah, exactly. That we can live with that. Happy days.
So, as you were asking, how I'd do it would be the Steve Prescott Player of the Year award.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'd do with that is that would take everything into account as they do now. So, try scored, tackles, all that good stuff that we love watching. Then the Man of Steel is a separate award that holds just as much esteem as the Steve Prescott Player of the Year award. And that tries would be deducted from that. So you cannot count tries as a part of that. And then that is just your pure greats for your carries, your line breaks, your meters made, your carries, everything that would encompass what any rugby player can do, be it a forward or not. And I think then if you've got them two awards there, we then have a pure Man of Steel and Player of the Year award. And I think that would go down really well with the fans.
Steph, anything to add on that?
The way I'd do it is I would have 3-2-1s on forwards and backs. For both, in terms of the game, I would I'd split it, and then you would get more consistency then with performances, and not just going to halfbacks all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Craig Forth there saying forward of the year, back of the year, break it down into two trophies. I think and again, I just stumbled across it in terms of what I said when Joe was talking. We don't do the big hoo-ha dinner for, and let's be fair, 27 rounds of Super League, you're the best in your position. Come on, Rugby Football League. That's deserving of a dinner. That's deserving of a big fanfare, of a proper night where those players with the wives and the families can come along and feel as if, they are revered, because they are revered. They put the bodies on the line for 27 rounds. You'd like to think that, I mean, I know we've had a couple over the years where you've had players who played half the season being in the dream team. They need to tidy that up. But the fact of the matter is, if they're in the Super League official dream team, should be a dinner. Bit of fanfare, and make them feel.
That what I just said would do it, though, wouldn't it? If we split it into, you get 3-2-1 for forwards and backs, you could have the forward of the year, back of the year, but then the overall winner would still be,
But also the dream team. I think those 13 players, Steph, because you'd like to think that the forward of the year is in the dream. I mean, and I smile when I say this, because how many times have we seen in, for example, the goal form, that the journalist has given a man of the match to the player and he's not even in the 3-2-1, and you're like, what's going on here? So for me, you'd like to think that the forward, the back, and the youngster. I mean, the youngster not necessarily, Not necessarily, because the youngsters probably might have played sub 15 games, unless it's a breakout season and they've played a shout. I mean, for example, Harry Robertson got his injury at the moment, but if he played 27 rounds the way he was playing before he got injured, he'd probably cakewalk Young Player of the Year the way he was playing. And right, so would he be in the dream team? Don't know. He's in some pretty hot company there with the likes of Petter Hiku, Wardle, etc., etc. So the young player might not make the 13, but he'd still be at the dinner. But yeah, for me, just final bit for me on this is that for me, we are passionate about giving our superstars the platform that they deserve. Rugby Football League, the dream team is deserving of a dinner.
Ross, let's have the dream team announced at the Man of Steel Awards and give them recognition.
That'd be a cost-effective way.
Say again?
Yeah, cost-effective way of doing it. Absolutely.
Announce it on the night. Who's in the dream team? Announce it on the night. They get their recognition. They get the round of applause. Their families are with them. Makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Craig there asking, should the dream team be a points-based system? Not on the points that they do, mate. No. On ours, you'd like, the way we operate, I'll guarantee that our dream team, all of the people that be in our dream team at the end of the season will be very highly, will be right up there in terms of our league table, because, like I say, that consistency piece and the team in a month and the way we do it will dictate that the best in their positions get more points, and rightly so. But anyway, that's just a sideline. Let's move on. It's time for this.
Give your head a wobble.
Yes, time once again to give our heads a little wobble. And disclaimer time. This is 1%. 1% of you following, just 1%. But they put themselves out there on social media. So, hey, don't shoot me. They typed it. But, don't get all colourblind on this. It's just the way it is. And surprise, surprise, this week it is very much Leigh Leopards. And it would be. Based on what happened at the weekend. But, we love to be the Royal Brigade. We love you. But, yeah. Edwin Murray. He's had better days. Edwin can't do it on his own. No, mate, come on, mate. Come on. Ethan O'Neill? Tessie New? Come on, mate. What are you doing?
O'Brien?
Maybe it's because he shares his name. Maybe. I don't know. But, come on. Steph, can you believe that?
No, there's a lot of excellent players at the minute.
There is, mate. There is indeed. Logan, good enough. This comment wasn't good enough, but we'll go anyway. We'll go there anyway. Logan, that's why I like Chris Kendall better than Liam Moore. So Steve McNamara is absolutely living with Chris Kendall. We all say Liam Moore had a belting game, and our Logan is blaming the referee.
You know what? Liam Moore had an absolutely fantastic, a common sense approach. A lot, we can say that the Trout tackles, we can say what I like about them, but Liam Moore had a common sense approach to that game, which is all we ask.
It is all we ask.
You just want common sense. Things happen in the heat of the moment, and a referee takes the heat out of that, considers it, and applies common sense. Well done, and this is me saying this. Well done, Liam Moore.
Yes. Well, actually, this wasn't planned, but Oliver. Our Oliver. It's actually our Oliver. It's our Oliver. It's what would Oliver say? And Oliver is in the chat, and he's going for his uncle. He's going for his uncle because his uncle doesn't rate Harry Smith. So on behalf of Oliver and the entire panel, this one's for you, Ollie's uncle. Harry Smith, one of the best sevens, if not the best seven in the comp by a country mile, sir. He is the reason why Wigan have been successful. Keep watching Super League Raw. We'll educate you on the great man that is Harry Smith. But well done, Ollie. Well done, mate. That's what we're talking. Hey, that could be a new segment, couldn't it? Hey, shop your family.
No, Dave. No.
No. You'll definitely be in then. Right. Okay. Let's. No, we aren't including Greg from last week before you start asking for it. We wobbled Greg at the time last week. Right. Okay. I can't remember. You said so it last week, and we all said that it could be and even the comments were Greg should be on. You give you head. I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember.
But anyway,
it was perfect sense that I made that.
Clearly to yourself, absolutely. Philip Malone, another Leigh Leopards fan. I sort of get this, but it's worth a wobble. Justice for Hodgson. Get me man back in over Armstrong is what Phil Malone said. Hindsight, I sort of get it, but nah, I'm sorry. It was a gamble. It didn't pay off. Armstrong on his day at the moment, correct me if I'm wrong here, Steph. Armstrong on his day, probably just ahead of Hodgson. That said, Hodgson in incredible form and deserving of a place in the side. But to go as far as to say justice for Hodgson, I don't think losing a semi-final is justice, is it, Steph?
No, definitely not. I'd say Bailey was very unlucky, given that he's been outstanding for Leigh, deputising while Armstrong's been out, especially at Magic Weekend. I thought he was one of the best League players there was on the pitch. So this is
Dallas. Anyway, that's the one for the old brigade. Go on, carry on, Steph. Carry on.
He's freaked me out a bit, that. No, Bailey's been tremendous, and I get his point there because obviously, when you've got an NRL marquee player, you're going to play him, aren't you? If he's fit, but was he fit? That was the question.
I think that was the case with a lot of players on Sunday, Steph. I think a lot of players were played who weren't 100% fit. That's a conversation for another day, I think. But I think a lot of players played on Sunday who shouldn't really have played.
Absolutely. And Carla Collier, she knows Philip Malone. It's a pet peeve. You could almost have a song. He moans when we win. When we lose, that Philip Malone, he's a complete balloon. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Sorry, Phil. I'm only joking. I'm only kidding, Phil. Have a laugh, son. Laugh at yourself. It's what makes us the British people that we are. We know how to laugh at ourselves. Hey, you've got your own chant on Super League Raw. It could be worse. It could be worse, mate. Keep smiling. Keep smiling. Nigel Bennett loved a bit of Dallas. He was happy with that. And Gary Brummett, yeah. Give us a call back tomorrow, Gary. I'd give you a ring earlier on. Be love to catch up with you, mate. You look after yourself. Keep watching Super League Raw. The last, give your head a wobble. And this is, I'm sorry, this is a personal one on my behalf. It's to the Rugby Football League. Yours is the biggest wobble of all this week. And it's around your marketing. Where was the origin marketing for the youngsters? Again, we talk about putting people on platforms. Where was the marketing for the youngsters? Where was the marketing for the Challenge Cup semi-finals for the women? You know, what is the strategy there? For me personally, when people are saying the only reason that they knew that the origin game with the youngsters was taking place was because of Super League Raw, you've got a major, major problem. And that is not good enough. Do you think that people look at your website? They don't. They don't. And actually, also Rugby Football League, on the poster where you announced the two squads, you just said the game was being played at Castleford. It could have been anywhere in Castleford. Because let's be fair, as Greg always says, there's a lot of women's games that don't get played in stadiums. So there'll be a lot of people going, oh, where in Castleford is the youngsters playing then? So Rugby Football League, sort yourselves out, not good enough, need to be a lot better. This one is for you. Anyway, we move on. That is another edition of Give Your Head a Wobble. We hope you enjoyed it. And Phil, don't take don't take umbrage at your champ. Just embrace it. You know it makes sense. Right, okie dokie. Here it is, the Super League Raw Predictions League 2025. This is how round 10 went down. Look at some of these scores. Joel Scholes got 19 points in round 10. Go on, Joel, lad, you're back in.
So yeah, I'm coming for you.
You're breathing down Earl's neck there, mate. You're breathing down Earl's neck. Joel's on 117. Earl Crabtree, he got 14 points. He's on 121. Then it's Steph. He got 11 points. He's on 122. I got 9. So Steph clawed back on me. I'm on 124. Then it's the non-members who got 16 points. Greg, he got 11. But the members are now the leaders. The members, take a bow in the chat, you wonderful people. You are now leading the Prediction League 2025. Many, many congratulations. Can you stay there? Well, we will wait and see. But many congratulations to our members. They currently lead the 2025 League. Well done. Fantastic. Right, let's get into round 11. Now, I'm not being funny, right? But all I'm going to say here now is that if round 11 was a dessert, it would be a Gordon Ramsay Savoy Hotel souffle. That's what we're talking about. Let's get your taste buds going, ladies and gentlemen. If you like your steak, this is a nice quality fillet, cooked rare. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Get the dough from wild potatoes next to it. Get the chips, whatever you fancy on the side. But the essence is this. It's a fillet steak. What's not to like about a fillet steak? Beautiful. And if you're a vegetarian, it's a vine tomato off the finest vine. Anyway, let's get into it. I hope I've sold that quite well as I sip a nice.
Get hungry.
I'll also make you thirsty because let me tell you now, if anything was worthy of Dave toasting a triple cask Glenmorangie, it's round 11 of Super League. Cha-chin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's unpack these little beauties, starting at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Oh, yes, let's go there. Paul Whelan still in post. And, of course, a very, very disgruntled Steve McNamara is going to be coming to town. Big game for both sides. There's no doubt about that whatsoever, gentlemen. Let's take a look at the squads because they're in, of course, because this is Thursday night. Right, let's go. I'll just do it in order of the screen. Steph, Saints, I keep calling for him. Surely Noah Stevens has got to be a part of it this week.
Well, you'd like to think so. He's too good not to be in this squad, isn't it? And they signed him on a 4-year deal. It's crazy that he's not getting in this team for me. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see whether he does get in. It feels like obviously with the gap from the Challenge Cup, we've got away from Super League a bit. So I'm wondering on who to go for in this one. But have Catalan stayed over?
Well, yeah, I think Greg reminded me when we spoke to Steve Mack at Magic. Did he say they were staying until after the Saints game?
Yeah, I was trying to think about this, and yeah, he did say this, didn't he? That they've stayed over here, they've acclimatized. The weather is the south of France, as the BBC keep telling us. Yeah. They're hotter than Portugal at this moment in time.
Yeah,
weather's perfect for them. They've stayed over. Yeah, so back to you, Steph.
Well, that's crazy, isn't it? Because that's a 2-week holiday for the whole squad, where they've had to put them in hotels or
what are they doing on the downtime, Steph?
Well, I'm sure they're having a great time. They're probably golfing at Royal Pennington around the corner from me. But no, I'm sure they'll be staying at the Marriott Hotel in Manchester where they normally stay, which has got a fantastic golf course if anybody wants to go to the Marriott. Not that we're sponsored by them. No, I think that's a crazy amount of time for some of those, especially French-based players, to be away from the families and stuff. It's a really interesting game, this. Really interesting, really difficult.
Hold on to your prediction because I want to go into the squads a little bit as well. Coming back to Steph's point there, Greg. Yeah, there's a lot of this. I mean, I kept it out of wobble because there was somebody on the Saints page saying something about some of these players need to show their pride, passion, and their worthiness for the shirt. There's quite a lot of those players that are listed there that won the last grand final that he won. Again, memories. However, what I will do, and I left it out of wobble because I sort of sympathise to a degree, because you think of Noah Stevens, there's some players in that squad, in the forward pack, in those middle units, that aren't in form. So how can Noah Stevens not be getting a go?
It's a great question, Dave, and I don't know. I mean, the lad's a big unit.
Talented.
I'm not in the head of Paul Wellens and his coaching staff. I can only think he's either said something out of turn, he's got a knock, they don't fancy him for some reason, and whatever that is, I don't know. But was it last season where he came on against Warrington and he caused a bit of havoc when he came off the bench, and he was being booed by the end of it because he was smashing our players all over the shop at one point. So, in answer to your question, Dave, I really, really couldn't second guess what's going on in those Saints coaches' minds.
No, it's really, really odd. And again, Joel, for me here, from the outside looking, I said it magic. I supported Wellens after the Warrington game. I did. It made me questioning to him. But at magic for me, that Benison takeoff for Sailor to go on the wing, that should have been called before the game even started. I'd be amazed if Sailor doesn't start on the wing for this. Amazed. I think the formation that ended the Leeds game probably starts this one. Is where it would go with that. The thing is about coaches, not just Wellens. I think we saw this with Davil Powell, Warrington. We've seen this many times in all sports. And again, there's rumours over potentially people being tapped up to replace Wellens, which again is no way to treat a club legend. I have to say that. If that is going on behind the scenes, then that part company now, let Breers take charge and do it with grace. Don't have this rumour mill going. I think it's absolutely scandalous, the rumour mill that's going around. But my point is that we've seen a lot of coaches over the years, Joel, be fearful of playing other players, going with tried and tested, experienced players. But the problem is those are the players that have put him in this position.
Yeah, and just today I've been thinking quite heavily about this. What could Wellens do? And I think the only option he's got now is going to the powers that be above and say, look, I've got it wrong. I've kept swapping and changing far too many times. This is my ideal squad that I want to go with going forward. And I'm talking, when I say squad, I'm talking your spine players. Because a settled spine, as we all know, is what will most certainly help you win your games. Is say, look, this is the spine I'm going to go with. If it doesn't work in the next game, bear with me. I think it will eventually start to click. Now, I'm not talking about the teams that have to have changed the spine because of injuries. St Helens haven't had that issue. They've had players that they could have put in them settled spine positions. We've kept moving them around and moving them around and moving them around. And then the fans are having a go at someone because we know that's going to happen. And I think the players have just been happy and willing to let Wellens cop for it. Now, I know Percival said what he said on camera, and that was amazing. However, what Wellens does have to take on the chin himself is the fact that he's the one that keeps swapping the squad round. And that will annoy the players. It has to do. Because some of these players have been playing these positions for many years. So I think what he needs to do is say, look, give me 1 month, 4 weeks. Let me just see if I can get some of these combinations going in these positions. And if it's still not right, then you decide what you want to do with me. But he's going to fight for his job because he loves the club. He bleeds white and red. So, I think that's the only play he's got left now. He can't keep changing this squad. It has to stay as it is. And if he gets it wrong, and you bow out and let Breers in. But I think he needs to put this play in where he just says to the powers above, let me just try the same squad week in, week out for 4 weeks and see how we go on.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of backwards and forwards in the chat in terms of is it Saints, is it Dragons for this one? Quite a lot in there. I think Leigh Hartley makes a good point. If Saints lose this week, it'll be toxic like you don't believe, guys. If Saints was to lose against Catalan at home, we saw at Magic some very unsavoury scenes around Paul Wellens, and it was only like 2 or 3. Do you fear for what that could look like on the TV Thursday night if they was to lose this?
Definitely.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Come on, Saints fans, have a bit of class. At the end of the day, the club will deal with. If Paul Wellens is to lose his job, trust your club. Your club will decide if and when the time is right. These are rugby people. They want your squad. They want your team to be as successful as you do. Eamon McManus does not want St Helens not successful. Entrust the people in charge of your club to decide when and if something happens and just back your team. That's the job of a fan. You can have an opinion, but let's not have unsavoury scenes. No man who has given as much to your club as he has deserves to be heckled, to be shouted at, to be threatened, and not just that, extended family threatened. That's just
not only that, Dave. When you're threatening family,
it's not what Rugby League's about.
That's out of order.
It's not what Rugby League's about. We're better than that. Saints fans are better than that. So if you lose, just have lose with a bit of dignity. Allow the club and Paul and everybody else to deal with what's going on behind the scenes. Just support your side. Brighter days will be ahead, I'm sure. Shame that Tommy Makinson isn't going to be available. He'd have loved to have run out at the Totally Wicked. And he'd got a great reception as well, no doubt about that, a club legend. But, you know, the Catalan Dragons in good fettle, bruised and battered off the back of that comfortable win for KR at the weekend. Right, lads, I think we've done a good job of that. Of course, we'll get into more detail in the captain's run on Thursday. Down the screen, Steph, who are you going for?
I'm going to back Saints. Yeah, I'm going to go Saints. I think they're really going to target this game as one. Obviously, Paul's still in post. They're going to want to not put themselves in that situation. I'm backing the Saints players to put performance in fall, and I'm going to go 9-17 Saints.
Greg, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a tough one. You know, do we argue that Wellens has lost the dressing room? I don't think he has. I think Saints fans have got to have patience. You're not going to finish bottom of Super League. There are teams that are having worse luck in various areas than you are, Saints. You're not going to finish bottom of Super League. In the same breath, you're not entitled to win Super League every single year. So have a bit of patience with Wellens. I think actually Saints will. I think the break will have done Saints good. I think Wellens will have regrouped them, and I'm going Saints 9-17.
Okay, Joe.
Very similar vein. Having the week off, I think, is going to help them. This is an absolute must-win, not because I think it's right, but just for Wellens' sake and what's going on at the club with the fans and the powers that be. I'm going Saints 1-8 because they're at home and they've rested.
Saints 1-8. Yeah. The non-members have gone Dragons 1-8, and the members have gone Dragons 1-8, which is interesting. I see it as a 1-8, and I'm going to back Saints at home. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think when you're a team playing the way Saints have played, they'd take a 2 point, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point win. They would, just to get a win on the board. I think it might not. I just can't see how it can all click. There's that much wrong in terms of their attacking structures at the moment. But if they start as they finished against Leeds, I think that game against Leeds goes another 5-10 minutes. Saints could have nicked that. Easily could have nicked that. And I think it's only right that we say that Leeds this season thus far appear to be a better outfit than Catalan. So as a measuring stick, maybe this is the one that, you know, home fixture, Thursday night, week off. Maybe this is the one for Paul Wellens. We wish him well. And we wish the Saints fans well. Like I say, have a bit of class, guys. Have a bit of class. Who knows? You might be winning it. Anyway, here we go. Let's go on to Friday. Here we go. Battle of the Borough ×2. Here we go. Who can forget that magnificent? You know, people said, I mean, again, the time. I mean, it was a give you wobble orchestra, the amount of people who said it wasn't a good game. It was a phenomenal game of rugby league. It was compelling. Yes, it was a football score, but what a game of rugby league. Even Steph's comeback, he was that happy about it. Incredible game of rugby league the first time around. Hoodoo monkey off the back for the Leigh Leopards. They go back into the enemy's den. Wigan week off, that could be quite telling. That could be very telling. But what a game! What a game! This is why we watch the great game of rugby league. This is why us as neutrals watch the great game of rugby league. Get rid of that wobble one. Brilliant game. We'll come to Steph last. Joel, we'll start with you, mate. Where are you going to be at 8 o'clock on Friday?
There's only one place to be, isn't there?
There's only one place to be.
There's one place to be. In bed. No, joking.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in bed, pull your clothes up. Yeah. That's what you want to do, mate. You do.
Yeah, this is going to be a cracking game. I think there's going to be a lot of people probably predicting this to be a much bigger scoreline than what they possibly think. But I don't agree with that. If that is the case, I think it's going to be really, really tight. I know Wigan's had a week off. They've had time to regroup. They're an incredible team. But we've got to realise they're playing Leigh Leopards.
Yeah.
You know, Challenge Cup aside, Leigh Leopards are a brilliant, brilliant team, and they're going to want to win this just as much as Wigan are, if not more, for many reasons. So for me, I've got it. I've got it. Wigan 1-8 because of the factors that are involved. But I wouldn't be surprised if Leigh got the win.
Yeah, I think there'll be a slight reaction from Leigh. I would say that. Greg, what's your view on this one, mate?
Yeah, I agree. I think there will be a reaction from Leigh. I think you've got to give credit to. I'm a Warrington fan. You've got to give credit to Warrington for that semi-final display. Apart from a few mistakes, it was pretty spot on. Leigh could, but even having said that, Leigh could have come back and Leigh could have won that in the last 10, 15 minutes. There were occasions where bounce to the ball, decision making from the players. Leigh could have put us under the cosh a little bit more, won that game. I just wonder whether there's too much of a Challenge Cup hangover. Wigan have had 2 weeks to work on their, the set plays and everything. I don't think it will be as close as that first game. If it's a 2-0 to either side, I will be very, very surprised. And I'm going to hide under a table now in case Steph comes out of the screen and grabs me like some Doctor Who monster. I'm going to go Wigan 9-17. I think it'll be close for 60 minutes. I think the effort that Leigh put in that semi-final, it was hot. I think it will take its toll. And I think Wigan will run away with it in the last 20 minutes. Apologies, Steph. I do apologise.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The recovery this week for Leigh, they were in a war. Real big. That was a proper game of rugby league. That was proper semi-final rugby league. Really good quality game. So yeah, recovery I'd expect has been challenging. There'll be some bumps, there'll be some bruises. I'll ask Steph in a minute in terms of injuries. In the chat, surprise, surprise, guess what Craig's doing? Going for Wigan, 9-17. Thomas Bevan, Wigan, 9-17. Carla's, that's hurting Carla. Carla, I bet your fingers were burning as you were typing that. Wigan, 9-17, Carla Collier. She's having a look at herself in the mirror. She can't believe what she's done. Unbelievable. Put that vino away. John O, Wigan 1-8. Andy Bevan, Wigan 9-17. Brett Johnson, Warriors 18 plus. Brett's going. He's going a big win. Ryan Bevan 1-8. Mark Smith, Wigan 9-17. So a few in there. Andy Bibby, he's got the Pies by 18. Warriors 9-6. Yeah, I mean, hang on, Nicholas.
Andy Bibby thinks they've got a hangover because why beat Leigh in every department. I didn't say anything otherwise. I said at the last, it was still, Leigh could have put some moves together and caused us problems. So I don't know why you disagree.
Do you know what? I'm going to come in on my own mucker here. 43 minutes. If Pappy goes over, that's game on.
Yeah,
that's game on. Mm-hmm. There wasn't much in that game. Up until Kingy's try, and then you came flying back after Kingy's try. Good game of rugby league. Good game of rugby league. Yeah. Wasn't a million miles off. And I think as Joffa starts to get a bit better, I think he looked good. We know Mullen's got the class and quality. There's no doubt about that. Frankie Alton coming back will be a big plus as well when he comes back. Unfortunately, Lamb took a few gambles and they didn't pay off. Hanley, Armstrong, etc. But there's a good team. Look, you're third. League tables don't lie after 10 rounds. You're third. You can't be that bad aside. So come on, keep your chin up, Andy, lad. Could be worse. I need to have a wash. There you go, Carla. She said it. She needs to have a wash with holy water after typing that. Absolutely. Unbelievable. Can't believe it, Carla. Can't believe it. Anyway, there's only one thing to do with a remarkable comment like that is to hear Steph say that we're going to win. Over to you, Steph.
If Carla needs a wash, I need a bath. So, what I'm about to say. 5-day turnaround for Leigh against what was near a perfect performance from Warrington. That will have taken it out of Leigh massively, and not only physically but emotionally as well. Because obviously, when you lose a semi-final, you're not going to Wembley. Then it takes a lot to come back from that, and I think this is probably the worst game that Leigh could have got into. to go into a battle of the borough. People could say it's a brilliant opportunity to bounce back and have a fantastic result. But then you remember you're playing Wigan, who are probably, if not the best, one of the best teams in the comp alongside Hull KR. It's and with a week off as well. And I know they've lost Miskey, they bring in Eckersley. So it's going to be a really, really tough game for Leigh, this. I can't see anything other than a convincing Wigan win, unfortunately, and I hate to say that. But it's our job to be realistic and what we actually say, what we really think. I'm going for a convincing Wigan win, and it kills me to say that. I'm going Wigan 18+.
Well,
I'll tell you. Should we replay that just so he can hear himself back? Yeah.
I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be. I'm just being realistic.
Man. That's what we do here. And do you know what? Right? I agree with you. I think it's a Wigan 18+ because he's had the week off, that bruising encounter that you've just had. And this is Wigan. You know, it's not like you're going and playing Castleford where you're playing Castleford. So you can have a bruising game and it might be a close one. You're playing Wigan. Now, 2 weeks off. They'll have been seething. They weren't in the Challenge Cup. Seething, because that's the type of club that they are. I'm with you. I think it's a Wigan 18+. But what I would say, what I would say to my lovely Leifers brethren out there, because we of course know they love a bit of Dave on Super League Road, RB the Road Brigade, just to give you a little bit of hope and love. I said before Magic, and Warrington had far more problems than Leigh had going into this game, that I just hope that Warrington could keep it within 3 scores. That they, 9-17 was a lovely. I'd have took that before that game kicked off, but look what Warrington did. So, and Wigan, and again, complacency in sport, Wigan could be looking at Leigh going exactly what we're saying, bruising encounter, we're all right here, lads, we'll be all right. I'm not saying they do, but hey, remember Hull FC last year? Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought that Hull had done that to him last year? It can happen in sport. So look, all I'm trying to say is keep your chins up, Leifers. As we always say, the sun will be shining, and if nothing else, enjoy the company of each other, a fine beverage, and a bit of rugby league football. Right, okie dokie. We now move over to, now this is a game. This is a game. Oh, yes, come on. This is a game. Leeds Rhinos taking on Hull FC. Kicks off at the same time as the Wigan League game. If you like your rugby league and you like to watch all your rugby league and you haven't got Sky Plus app, but you've got Sky, I'm afraid you're going to have to watch that one and watch the Leigh one on record after, because obviously that's what you've got to do. But good news, rumour has it that Dave Saylor's come through for us. Sky, I think from July, Steph, I've heard, will be showing full games on the red button. Happy days. So we're not a million miles away, ladies and gentlemen, from that. But what a game this one is going to be. Loads of question marks over these two sides this season. Leeds, without doubt, have been, for some, the surprise package, I would say. This year, they've really done, well, I'd say that, Hull FC the surprise package, but Leigh also are the surprise package in the fact that they're probably doing better than many people expected as well. Hull FC got off to a flyer. There'll be, again, it's the reaction from losing to Huddersfield. Huddersfield completely deserved to win that game at Magic. 100%, phenomenal performance. And now we're going to learn something about FC, because how are they going to bounce back? They are having only a little bit of free fall at the moment. They've had a couple of odd weeks. So this is a real test for both sides. We're going to learn something about both sides. I'm fascinated by this one. Greg, we'll start with you. Headingley, Leeds, FC.
Yeah. It is genuinely, if this was played 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, I'd back Hull. But I'm backing Leeds. I think they've grown as a team. I think they're getting more confident. They're getting more confident with each other. And I think Jake Connors, as I said before, Jake Connors been he's been taken off the leash. And I'm going to go for Leeds 9-17.
Yeah. Because I mean, at the moment, Joel. If not, I'll go to Steph. I'll come to Joel last this time. Leeds at the moment, Steph. I've got a lot of players in good form. The two, I mean, Morgan Gannon, James McDonald. We mentioned Connor, Lockie Miller, doing what Lockie Miller does. Hanley and Newman, decent. You know, I think there's still more to come from Newman, but Hanley's transitioned really, really well. You look at that, and then you look at Hull FC at the moment, having to play the likes of Hardaker and Chamberlain the last few weeks in second row, which is a bit, you know, having to move the pack a little round. Has Will Price really settled yet? So question marks a little bit over Hull FC, whereas Leeds, for me, just look a little bit tidier.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the game to watch on Friday. I think it's going to be it's going to be a classic, this one. And I think not just from the Rugby League on display, I think it's going to be really fiery as well. I just get that feeling that there could be some cards in this one. I just think two sides that really, really want to win this game. So I think it's going to be a bit of a war and a battle of attrition. They've both been, you know, showing some great form this season. Leeds probably more so now, and that's probably what's favouring me towards Leeds a little bit in this game. Is it Henley as well? Is it? Yeah. So that's why I'm gonna go slightly for Leeds, but I think it could go either way, and I'm going to go 1-8 Leeds. But I wouldn't be surprised if FC do sneak it. I think it could go that way. It's just really intriguing. And if I wasn't watching Leigh, I would be watching this one definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Joel, you did great first win. Great first win for Huddersfield, you know, and like I say, completely deserved. Did we see, I mean, you got off to a flyer. And absolutely, you got right into the faces at Magic, right from the get-go, and they didn't like it. And it really unsettled them. It looked like they unsettled them to me. Hence the silly yellers and the rest of it that came their way. If Leeds were watching that, if they got off to that could be the strategy. Quick start, get on the front foot, put them under pressure.
It's the only way. It's the only way. Hull are a fantastic team this season. You know, we've seen that with not just the results, but just how the games have gone. Even the ones that they've lost, they've been pretty good. Maybe as good as that whiskey is, Dave. I don't know.
Oh, honestly, Joel, as a man who likes a Scotch, let me tell you, right, it's in our, right, for those people, you can go to other supermarkets. However, at this moment in time, Glenmorangie triple cask, ladies and gentlemen, is £25 in Asda. And let me tell you now, it is a wonderful drop. I'm really enjoying drinking this in your company this evening. So there you go. If you like your Scotch, off to Asda you go, like good people, £25. Glenmorangie triple cask. Back to you, Joel.
I do love a good whiskey.
Indeed.
And I certainly do love a good Scotch. So, yeah, very good. I might be making a trip down there this week.
Good man. Send me one in the post. Carry on, sir.
Yeah.
The supermarkets are available, of course.
They are indeed. Go on, Joe.
The biggest thing that I think will influence the game, and I'm sure you'll tell me that I'm wrong, Dave, though I think Leeds are one of the best defensive sides in the comp at the moment.
Your knowledge, sir, is of the highest pedigree.
I may be wrong, but I'm sure that is somewhere there or thereabouts. And I think that's going to really help Leeds in this game because Hull are very attacking. However, as we saw at Magic, we, as in Huddersfield, just knew how to play the game there. I think like you said, we came out very strong, very aggressive, and matched them with the intent and aggressiveness that they always show, and it quite took them off guard a little bit.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, Leeds will certainly do that. Leeds have got a very good forward pack. They may not be the biggest in the world, but man, they know how to play.
Yeah.
And they certainly know how to run the ball. So I've got it as a Leeds 1-8 win, and that is purely off the defence of Leeds. So if you're a Leeds fan, you're in for a good game.
Great knowledge, mate. Second only to Hull KR. Hull KR have conceded 100, Leeds Rhinos 111, Wigan Warriors 117, 200 thus far for Hull FC. So great knowledge, sir. Just KR ahead of Leeds in terms of the against. So well done, mate. Well done. I can't back against Leeds. I'm going 9-17. I'm going 9-17 Leeds. I think all the things we've discussed, I think they're just in better form. I think they've got more players in better form at the moment. Be interested to see how Hull FC bounce back because that'll hurt them. no disrespect to Huddersfield. Huddersfield deserved to win, but they'd have expected to win that at Magic, and they didn't. So they've got to take a long, hard look at themselves. And I'm sure that they did so. Just catching up on the non-members, Wigan 9-17, and the members went the same way. And both the non-members and the members have gone Leeds 1-8, as to have I. So nobody backing Hull FC. Wow. Again, you go back 4 weeks, lads. That wouldn't have happened. Wow. That's really, really interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. Any love in the chat for FC? Jono's gone all FC 9-17. That's interesting. Jono's gone 9-17. Surprised Ian's not in there. Thought Ian would have been in there. We'll just take it as read that Ian's gone all FC. Right, okay. We'll now go to KR taking on the Giants. 5:30 p.m. Super League Plus. What are you doing on Saturday night? What else are you going to do? Outstanding stuff.
I know what I'm doing.
I know what you're doing. You're having your photo up with Ollie and enjoying Mr. Kingston's hospitality, sir, is what you're doing. Outstanding. But yeah, KR against the Giants. We'll leave Joel to last on this one as his team. We'll start with Steph, because I think we started with Greg last time. Can you see the Giants knocking another Hull side off their perch on this, or do you think KR will continue to purr like a V8 engine in a Mustang?
Unfortunately, Joel, I can't. I think KR are just that good at the moment. People talk about the cup hangover. I think they pretty much cruised to that semi-final win in the end. And one thing we know is that Craven Park will be rocking on Saturday. There'll just be such a good atmosphere there. But we saw what Castleford did to KR early in the season. You know, they aren't unbeatable in terms of that kind of performance. So I expect Huddersfield to be really buoyant off their victory. I think they're going to put a really good effort in. But I think KR are going to have too much class. And I think it'll be close for about 50 minutes, but I think KR are going to run away with it, and I'm going to go KR 18.
I was going to say 15 minutes then.
It's a KR. Reggie.
I think 50 minutes, mate. You'll be there. I think Huddersfield will be there for 50 minutes, but they're just going to run away with it.
Reggie?
I'm sure Joel will agree. Huddersfield have been a bit of an enigma this season. That's a big word to say, enigma. They've been a bit of a mystery this season. They played really, really well in large parts of games and still managed to lose the game. It all came together at Magic Weekend. Hull's indiscipline let them down, but, you know, Huddersfield had their discipline problems as well. Huddersfield will be buoyed by that win, I think. Hull KR, a great win at the weekend. You know, never really in danger once the second half started. Hull KR, they took control of the game. Does Willie Peters rest some players this week? Have we seen the squad? I don't think he will. I don't think he's that type of player, that type of coach. Sorry. I think that Huddersfield would give a good account of themselves, but Hull KR will eventually come out 18+ winners. I'm sorry, Joel. You know I love you deeply.
Yeah,
but,
and to be
18+, I think. Sorry, Joel.
You know, there's the odd 9-17. The Robbins Mark Smith's gone that way, but the vast majority are saying 18+. I'm saying 18+. The members and the non-members are saying 18+. And before I pass over to the old mucker, and yeah, you know, nothing would make me happier than see the big fella have a smile. But I think we've got to start treating the Robins with the respect that they deserve. They are on that pedestal at the moment. They're playing some wonderful rugby league. They're coming up against the Huddersfield team that have still probably got 3 or 4 weeks of gelling to do because they haven't had the team playing together all season. So it's going to come up against a team that is purring. You know, it's like Battle Cat. Even Email would like to ride them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're playing that well, aren't they? Steady on, Greg. Leave your dirty mind away. Joel, tell me why it's not going to be 18+.
Well, I'm telling you that I'm relishing the game.
Yeah,
I really am. And I think it's the opportunity for us to see where we're actually at. Are we any better than we have been? Was it just a one-off? It was a good game. I'd like to think, and I'm sure that the lads are really going to be sticking it at KR as best they can from the get go, because you've got to do this. With a team like KR. You have to hit them hard and fast, and if it means that we lose 18 plus and more, but so be it. You've got to try these things, because if you play a boring brand of rugby, KR are going to roll you regardless. So we need to try and match them with some sort of intensity, with aggression, a bit of skill, a bit of know-how. Though I don't think that's going to happen, and I am going KR 18 plus. What I am wanting from the Giants is to see the same intent and the same amount of guile they had. They really showed. They showed up at Magic, and that for me was more pleasing than anything. Obviously, the result was great. It was lovely. You know, it genuinely felt like a grand final win for me. Did that? How we saw the video of both Ryan and Greg. That's literally, I was jumping up and down. It was brilliant. And for those that are going to be at Craven Park, any KR fans, please, if you see us, just come and say hello. Dying to meet as many of you as I can. That'd be wonderful.
Absolutely. Royalty, no less, Mr. Scholes. And speaking of royalty, and you know, Ollie, he's a clever lad, young Ollie. He's a clever lad. Not only is he an outstanding puddick, you know, he's got an eye to detail, but he knows how to get a free Fanta. Do you know what I mean? He knows, you know, he's buttering you up there, Joel. He's buttering you up. You know, he really likes Huddersfield Giants fans by all accounts. One that looks like royalty. You know, Henry VIII down there, big Jolie Scholes. Hey, happy days. Don't get alarmed when you see him. He's a big soft teddy bear, Ollie. Don't you worry about that. He'll buy you.
And to be honest, Dave, who doesn't like the Huddersfield FC fans?
The Huddersfield FC?
Giants fans, not FC.
Yeah. Is there a merger happening that we don't know about, Greg? Anyway, we move swiftly on. Let's move on to this one. I tell you, another great game, Sunday, 3 o'clock. Wakefield Trinity taking on the Warrington Wolves. We said a mighty wide then for the Warrington Wolves on Sunday. Very similar to, even though Warrington beat Leigh at the weekend, Warrington will be battered and bruised off the back of that. I mean, that was a real good, tasty game. Trinity have done Warrington already this season. Steph, I'll start with you. Could Trinity strike twice?
They could. It reminds me a bit of the league game with Leigh, because they beat us in the league and then we beat them in the Challenge Cup, didn't they? So it's going to be another really tasty one, this, for the neutrals. If Warrington play like they played against Leigh, they played a near perfect game in that one, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see if they can back that up. Wakefield have obviously had a week off to prepare. Very evenly matched side. I really like the Wakefield pack, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they match up against Warrington's forwards, and the squads are going to matter as well, in terms of, we've already talked about Matty Ashton as he got that ACL. Does Lindott come in? There's so many factors in this one, but I'm going to go Wakey. I'm sorry, boys. I'm going to go Wakey. I think they're going to just have enough fear. I'm going to go Wakey 1-8.
Yeah, Joel. I think Musgrove will play. I'd be amazed if Musgrove didn't play. I'd have to say that straight away. There'll be no Ashton. The other big question is, Mark Sneed come back, did a job. Does he give him a week off now? Does he give him a week off and put him in a bit of cotton? You know, give him an extra week of recovery with the Challenge Cup. But then there's that word momentum. You know, Sam Burgess will want Warrington to carry on winning from now until the final, as will Willie Peters. How do you see, Joel?
Well, the fallout of the game from the Challenge Cup has to be nothing but good from Wire. Yeah. When you've won such a massive game and you're finally in the Challenge Cup, you know, is it Warrington's year? You know, all these emotions that are going on, I think it's going to have a good fallout for this week. So with that in mind and how Sneedy were playing, I'd keep Sneedy in the game for definite. You need to stamp your authority on this and get the momentum going for June the 6th. So yeah, I'm going Wire 1-8, because even though Wire are absolutely incredible, they played amazing. We've got to remember that the Up the Trim Brigade are an incredible team too, and they're taking no one lightly. So it's going to be a very close game, this.
Yes, of course, June the 7th, Joel. I understand why he thinks it's June the 6th, because, of course, yours truly's birthday is June the 6th. I expect a birthday card, Mr. Scholes. In fact, actually, I think we're staying in the same hotel, potentially. So if you have maybe a frosty fruit at your very, very fine hand to celebrate my 47th birthday. I know I don't look old enough. Mr. Nixon, speaking of a man who does look his age. Steady on. Steady.
I'm only 24.
No need for that. Go on, Reggie lad. I could get away with that. You couldn't, Joe. Go on then. Go on there. Go on, Reggie lad. You tell us how Warrington are going to do on Sunday.
Do you know what? This is a really difficult one because Trin isn't a happy hunting ground for Wire. I've seen Wire over the years conjure up several and quite magnificent ways of losing games against Wakefield at Wakefield. It's been almost Harry Potter-esque, the way that Warrington have conjured up defeats against Wakefield. Wakefield, though, are struggling at home to win. That they were outstanding when they beat us at Halliwell Jones.
You were outstanding at Magic as well, mate.
They were taking nothing away from them for that performance against Wire. They deserved to win. They were on the ball. They made us look ridiculous with some of the play they played. I think now, though, this is in the run up to Wembley. This is a time when Wire players have got to stand up and make their stamp and put their hand up and say, "I'm playing at Wembley, no matter what team."
Good point.
Sam Burgess puts out on Sunday that there are with injuries, there are Wembley places up for grabs, and Sam Burgess is the type of coach. If you don't meet his expectations, you ain't playing at Wembley, sunshine. And I think that's a big factor. Yes, it was a hard-fought game against Leigh in the semi-final. We were good. Leigh, Andy Bibby could have still snatched it.
Yeah.
And for fear of Andy Bibby's head falling completely off, I'm going to go for Wire 9-17 because I think
a big win.
This is going to be a statement game for Wire.
Wow.
This is where they have to put the hand up.
Wow,
They have
Mr.
to
Sales
put the hand up.
shifted in his chair there. Wow, that's a big call, mate. It's a big call.
Tell you what, if they don't win, then Mr. Burgess will be looking at them and thinking, well, who am I going to pick at Wembley? And that is my only rationale.
That's a good rationale, mate. It's a great.
It's my only rationale behind this game. Wakefield aren't good at home this season. We'll be stinging from that win.
Yeah,
and players now are playing for a Wembley place, and Sam Burgess,
fabulous,
is that coach?
Fabulous, Reg. Fabulous.
You're shutting me up now, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, fabulous. 9-17 the Wire. Trinity 1-8 said the non-members, and the members are going Wire 1-8. I'm going Wire 1-8. For all the reasons Greg said. Right, okay, we now move on to the last game of the round. Castleford Tigers taking on the Salford Red Devils. Still a lot of reports coming out of the Red Devils. We're not going to go there. In the interest of time, boys, does anybody see the Red Devils winning this game? Fabulous. Right, so for the interest of time, Greg, where are you going?
Well, I see the Salford Reds are rising. Castleford 18+.
Cass 18+ for you. Steph?
9-17.
Yeah, I'm going 9-17. Joel?
As am I.
Yeah, you're going the same. Right, okay. And this is no disrespect to Castleford Salford, but you get the point. Simo and the likes out there. Cass 9-17 for the non-members, and for the members 9-17. Just quickly going back into the chat, a lot of love for Wakey Trinity. Bazza Kingston 1-8. Ryan Bevan the same. Andy Bevan, Thomas Bevan. It's a Bevan feast. Wakey 1-8 says Carl. Yeah, a lot of love. Nicola Burt, well, she's always good, Nick, isn't she? Nick, why 1-8? She, don't know where the kisses are, but good on you, Nick. That puts a smile on my face. Aidan Simpson, why 1-8? Yeah, all good. And then, of course, the Cass game, Tom Bevan, Cass 18+, 9-17s. Any love for Salford? Andy Bevan, Salford 1-8. He's done that to get his name read out, hasn't he? Good lad. There, Andy. I'll even put it on the screen for you. There you go, Andy. There you go. Oh, hang on. There you go. He's changed his mind. In a minute, he's going to go to Cass. In a minute, he's going to go to Cass. In a minute, he's changed his mind all the time. He's like, hang on, I'm the only one going Salford here. Fear of missing out. I need to get into the gang. Unbelievable stuff. Right, look, brilliant stuff. Cassie's run back. on Thursday. Join us for that. We'll get into the analysis. We'll talk about these games in more detail as per the captain's run. Right, okay. Let's talk. Let's just end this show again a little bit about the membership. There are going to be grand final tickets up for grabs to come and join the Super League Royal family. Very much so like we did the Challenge Cup. We'll be doing it all again for the grand final. So that's an opportunity for people to win some tickets. A lot of members, for example, the Halliwells, they're off to the Challenge Cup final courtesy Super League Royal. Their membership's paid for itself this year. They're coming to the Challenge Cup with the Super League Royal family. But here's one for you folks. Would you like to join the men on the screen on the 17th of June at the Halliwell Jones Stadium for a quiz night where myself and Sam Burgess will be your compares? The entire Warrington Wolves squad will be in attendance. The Super League Raw team will be in attendance. We have got not one, not two, not three, but 4 tickets. It's sold out. The only way you're getting into that now is through Super League Raw. So another reason to become a member, especially if you're a Warrington Wolves fan, get yourselves to be in a membership. You've got an opportunity there to join us on the 17th of June in the what's the name of the stand? I can't even remember it. 4020 Lounge. 4020 Lounge at the Warrington Wolves. Join the Super League Raw posse. 4 tickets up for grabs. We'll be giving them away probably in the next couple of weeks, actually, because it's the 17th of June. Myself, Greg, Steph, and Joel will be in attendance. Come and join us. Like I say, 4 tickets. 4 tickets up for grabs, so courtesy of Super League Raw. Do you want to be in that crowd? If you do, then, of course, become a member. And, of course, grand final tickets later on in the year, as well as all the stuff that the guys are doing on the WhatsApp group. Meetups. Joel will be meeting with Bazza and Ollie this weekend. We've got car shares going on in there. It's great banter. It's a 24/7 group. There's loads of good stuff going on in our WhatsApp group. It's only getting bigger. It's only getting better. You need to become a part of it. Chaps, another week has come and gone. Outstanding conversation. Really, really enjoyed it as always. Best of luck at the weekend to all of our teams. And should we do it all again next week?
Why not?
Why not? Let's do it all again next week. Ladies and gentlemen, you love your rugby league. Enjoy yourselves. Get to the game. And don't forget, post your photos. Send us your photos. If you're at the game, send us your photos for the titles next week. We want to see your lovely faces at the ground with each other or just with your families. Get them sent to us. And next week, you could be the star of our titles. From all of us on the screen, we'll see you for the captain's run on Thursday at 6 o'clock. And join us next week at 8 for Super League Raw Weekly, because, guys, we always say it every week.
Can't beat a bit of weekly.
Can't beat a bit of weekly. All the best, everyone. Bye for now.
See you later, guys.